back on the grind, heading to go get a wideband O2 sensor. This time I'm just getting it used. A friend of the GTO community is actually parting out his car, unfortunately, but he does have some parts that I can use, so we'll keep his car alive in my car. And yeah, anyway, we're heading. We got a good little drive. I feel like every time I go and get parts from friends, it's like going hella far. So we got a good little drive. So I hella laugh, like I think it's funny because, you know, people criticize junkyard engines, but what they don't realize, like I straight up from like two or three people, oh, why don't you just buy something legit? Stop messing with this junkyard crap. And I think it's funny. You know, one, that's just ignorance, because if you know, most of those cars that come into the junkyard were previously running cars, and you just figure out the mechanical side of things. It's not like they're hurt or anything. They run good. I mean, why not? If you found, let's just put it this way, if you found an LS3 at the junkyard and it was in a car accident, like the rear end got hit or whatever, you'd probably pick that thing up, especially for junkyard prices. Just because I was having an issue doesn't mean they're trash. The first junkyard engine that I used, it ran really good for a long time, and it was super clean, as you guys can see, other than me, you know, roasting the rod journal. But that was, I take full blame. That was for me running a completely stock oil, stock body oil pan, stock lifters, stock oil pump. I mean, you name it, other than a mild lift cam and just sliding it. So I mean, that was on me, and I had no oil pressure gauge. So I mean, it is what it is. So this time I'm having some tune issues, or I possibly am out of timing somewhere, and I just got to get it fixed. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with junkyard motors, so I'm just going to address that right now. All right, so on the Z here, I think I just misaligned my timing gear. But yeah, we picked up a wideband O2. Oh no, I dropped my gauges. Picked up a wideband O2. We're gonna slap it in the GTO, so we're good to go on the GTO. And we'll end up fixing the Z, so we could be driving the Z a whole lot more again. But what I think happened was I misaligned the timing on the Z, on the 5.3. So I'm assuming that, you know, with all the changes in the computer for the tune, that is what is going on. So now as for my 5.3 here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go do pretty much a stock rebuild. I've kind of already reiterated this. I'm gonna go pick up another stock crank. We're gonna put all new bearings in it, and it's just gonna be a factory spec 5.3. But everything, as for other than the crank, everything looks pretty good. The skirts on the pistons aren't worn too bad. Cylinder walls are really nice. I'm assuming the mild wear here was from the bearing being spun a little bit on this one, but other than that, all of them look really good. So this week, this is what we have planned for this week. We're going to redo the timing on this. I am going to order a degree wheel for the cam, so this never happens again, because it is a hit or miss if you line the dots up for the cam gear and or crank. Once that happens, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through the tune again. Now, if the tune is corrupt or something happened with the tune or the ECU, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and switch to a Holley system for this car, because the Holley system is a self-learn. It's a way easier. There's a lot of safe parameters. It'll actually give me a digital dash for oil pressure, RPM, everything, without hooking up into the factory dash, which I never wanted to use the factory gauges in the first place. Okay, so the guy I went and got the wideband from, he actually has a GTO roller. It's an 04, and I kind of talked it over with the wife, and we're considering rebuilding the GTO roller and maybe auctioning it off, or selling it or doing something with it, but I would have a second GTO to play with. So it's kind of up in the air, but she thought it was a good idea, and I also thought it was a good idea to go ahead and get a second GTO, fix it up for you guys, and then either give it away, do some sort of auction for it, and you know, just you guys go have fun in a GTO that I personally built. Now this is still up for debate, so I'm not 100% sure that's what we're gonna do. The roller, most likely it'll be a 5.3. If it's a 5.3, we're gonna try to go ahead and get the Gen 4 rods and pistons for it, and then we'll end up doing something. Maybe turbo setup, maybe NA or supercharged setup, we'll see. But it'll be super fun. All right, so like I was telling you guys, I had pretty much I went to this guy's house. He has a GTO roller, and this one thinks it's a good idea to build it up and most likely hook you guys up with it. What do you think, Mama?
I already told you.
Well, yeah. Tell the people.
Okay, I think that he should build it and sell it. So I don't know. I gave him the option, so it's up to him.
What if I built the same setup I have and then sold it like that?
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be super sick, but
yeah.
The only issue I will have is I don't want no attachment to stuff. Because the attachment is what kills. Like, all right guys, if you're gonna get into this kind of stuff like for a living, you cannot have an attachment to any of the stuff you build, especially if you're trying to sell it. So that is the main thing. Is I don't want to get another GTO because that body is clean, and I know a really large amount of information about the cars, and I don't want to get attached to it.
Yeah.
So, and I know a good handful of you would probably be like, get rid of the Z, but there's no way in HE double hockey sticks I'm getting rid of the Z. So that's what the issue is right now. So most likely if I were to do it, I would not try to source the T56, which is a 6-speed. I would definitely go automatic in it. Just a lot easier to find the 4L80s and get them running easier and a whole lot cheaper than sourcing a T56.